Onegaishimasu. This morning, I'd like to read you Shokushu number 17, Rei Seishin. We, as human beings, are given a mind that is directly connected to the universe. This is Rei Seishin. Water, when it settles, can clearly reflect the moon. When our mind becomes calm, Rei Seishin expresses itself clearly and unmistakably. Once this mind arises, in that moment, any selfish urges and desires disappear, and the universal mind of love and protection for all things shines forth. Let us polish our Rei Seishin. These 5 principles of Shinshin Toitsu Aikido. Ki is extending, know your partner's mind, respect your partner's ki, put yourself in the place of your partner and lead and move. These 5 principles are not just a way to learn how to perform a physical technique in Aikido. No, they're much more than that, and they're code. Toi Sensei's code to us for how to become a loving and useful friend. When we're challenged by someone, it might be a stranger, but it's much more likely to be someone that we know, someone who is or has been a friend, and for some reason is feeling disenfranchised or dismissed or insulted, or some misunderstanding has happened. And for that reason we're being questioned, approached, confronted in some way. This is when we need to know our opponent's mind and know our partner's mind. And so the only way to know someone's mind or to know their intention is to come to them openly and vulnerably. If we bring defensiveness to this, of course, we're always going to be defeated. Because defensiveness is defeat itself. We've already agreed that we are a victim. No, we bring exactly what the other person is looking for, which is loving kindness and compassion. Right? And if we don't have that in our hearts, in ourselves, then there's no way the other person will find it in themselves. The other person in some kind of difficulty has probably got some specific grievance that they would like resolved when they approach you. You know, it might be some misunderstanding that's happened in the past. And just attempting to explain that problem to them somehow doesn't do the trick. It's not just dealing with their aggression directly or logically. It's not trying to resolve the issue yourself. Knowing the opponent's mind is knowing that what everybody in every moment is looking for is love. Sometimes we call respect, and that'll be dealt with much more directly next week. But to know your opponent's mind, we have to open ourselves lovingly. In other words, we have to bring Rei Seishin to the table. Once Rei Seishin is openly present, then the problem is resolved already. because the partner, whoever it is, already can feel it. And once that happens, then it's just a matter of working out the details. Know our partner's mind is a state of mind for us to maintain at all times. Okay, thank you very much. Let's do some key breathing this morning. So friendship, these 5 principles are 5 hints for us how we can become a true and loving friend to someone. Maybe someone new, maybe somebody that we've known for a long time. Aikido is all about how to be a true and loving friend. It's all about, that's what this intense connection we're always talking about is really about. This connection is not just between you and me, between 2 people. It's Reisei Shin, this connection between ourselves and the universe. This is love. Reisei Shin is just love. Ki is love. The ki, K-E-Y, to connection is love. And it's something that we're actively engaged in every moment together. So when we know our opponent's mind, it means we recognize what their relationship with this connection is. And we move forward then to support and enhance that connection. That's what a true friend is. Okay, please talk to me about this. I'd love to hear your feelings about this, your thoughts, your connection with this. Share it with us, please.
Jose, good morning is with you.
Good morning. Yes, thank you. Good evening.
You sent us an email about a business friend of yours.
Ah, yes.
And you ask us now to consider what the relation of our partner, in your case, your business friend, is with Reisei Shin.
Yeah.
And if I gather what you wrote, there was not much of a relationship with Reisei Shin because he wanted to conquer other people and he thought he was doing the same thing as you were. But you didn't tell him it wasn't so.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, sorry, I have a cramp. What would be a reason for you to tell him? Because he was looking for a connection with you somehow. And when would it be sincere to actually open up to that wish to have a connection with you and to tell him, well, actually, we're quite different.
Yeah. Good question.
Would you like to become more similar to me?
Right. So
That's my question.
that's a good question, and my answer is always the same. I never correct someone else until they ask. He was not looking for a loving connection with me. He felt he had one already. He was wrong. He wasn't experiencing it on the level that was possible. But there's no way I could have forced that on him until he opened himself to it. And I still know this person, and there has been progress, but it's very small. Some people not in this lifetime. That's just the way it is. So our job, I don't mean when I talk about these 5 principles, or when Toy Sensei talks about them, to represent what he's teaching. We're not talking about making everyone love us. We're talking about loving everyone else. Being a true loving friend to my friend, the businessman, at that time was just being there for him in his obscure confusion. And maybe that's something that someday he'll go, wait a minute, oh, what was that feeling that guy had that I used to know? Who knows? Maybe not also, and not to be expected. So I think this is a really good question because we can easily become campaigners for love. We can easily become, what do you call it, when you go door to door, proselytizing for love. And then this is not at all what I want to do. Maybe it's fine. Some people like that. That's okay if they want to do that. But I would never do that. I don't want to ever do that. I always wait until someone comes to me and says, I don't understand why I can't be friends with this person, or I don't understand why you don't like me, or I don't understand why we have this problem. Then, and even then, maybe it's not time to say anything. Maybe it's just time to maybe ask a question, or better yet, just listen. Just to be there for everyone else. When everyone else in the office is having a fight, or gossiping, or worrying, or downtrodden, or fearful about something, just support them by not saying anything, just being present for them. Can you see that? So Toy Sensei is really talking about a way to live, not a way to be, not something to do to be effective, or to be more liked, or to be popular, or to be successful even. Just a way to be as a human being. What is it to be a human being, you know? What is it for us to be a true friend to humanity, to everyone we meet? You know, this is something worth devoting our lives to, I think, because I just don't think there's anything else. Yes.
Sensei,
Hello.
can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Sensei. Good evening and morning, everyone. I have some trouble with knowing the other opponent's mind, as it sounds like a little, can I say arrogant? Use the word arrogant. Like
Sure.
in all these relationships, it sounds like I know what is going on, but I cannot talk about it, or I'm not saying it. But it implies to me, it sounds to me like it's difficult. As a teacher, you should always be right, or you should know things, be the one to know things. But that's also a little bit, I don't know how to explain this, but it sounds, it's not an equal relationship then, is it? Because then, or an equal friendship, because if there's an argument, you can see what is going on, or you are expected to be able to see what's going on. Is that not arrogant?
That's interesting that you would ask it that way. Yeah, okay, so I love you, and I know that you love me. Is that
Yeah.
arrogant?
No, no,
Is that unequal?
no.
Just bear with me.
I,
I know what you're thinking right now. That's a little arrogant. Because knowing your opponent's mind is not knowing what they're thinking. Like when you give a key test, your injunction, your instruction is to, your intention is to discover what is their state of mind. Is it open and loving, and therefore incredibly stable and immovable? Are they connected vis-a-vis reization or not? So to discover that is not arrogance. To discover that is loving them. Because the only way you can discover that is to open, is to do that yourself. To open yourself to reization. So that you're experiencing it. Then when you touch it, you know it. There's no other way. So there's a difference. Many years ago, my first teacher said, you have to learn the difference between ego and egoity. I thought, sounds like the same thing to me. He said, no. Ego is thinking that you know something. Egoity is just knowing. What is there to know? What does that mean? Is that arrogant? Yes, if you think you know everything. You know the answer to everything. That's not what the teacher knows. The teacher only knows one thing. The teacher knows the connection with the universe, experiences that, and shares it with everyone. That's all the teacher's doing. So yes, misunderstood, it can easily lead to arrogance, and that's like friendship. Friendship is so shallow, usually. Friendship is because the other person believes what you believe, or the other person supports you and needs you in their life in some way. But if you suddenly don't believe what they believe anymore, you're no longer their friend. Was that friendship? No. That's not friendship. Friendship is unconditional. It requires nothing at all in return. It doesn't require that the other person be enlightened or deeply loving as a person. It doesn't require that at all. So compassion is not something that is necessarily returned. There's nothing to be gained from it. So there's no arrogance in it. There's no selfishness. There's no claim of any kind. So that is, I can see why you asked that, and that is it for you. That's a really important question. And I think maybe not something that I can completely satisfy you with, but you can resolve. And that's what this process is all about. Let's face it. Don't you think so?
Yes, thank you, Sensei. Yeah, I'll sit with it.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't say that. You did. That's great. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh boy. Well, it's after 8 o'clock. So listen, everyone. Very happy to be with you all. Thank you. どうもありがとうございました。